Dr. Sherwal, as we begin the opening up process, as states gradually lift lockdowns, isn't this what the country wanted to hear, what the Prime Minister has said today? Essentially, a decentralized vaccination policy and the emphasis now back on vaccinations.
Very right, and thank you for giving me time. I think I have been listening to the Honorable Prime Minister, and if I have to rate, I think this address is one of the historical address today. I'll say that for the common people of the country, if we are saying that everyone above 18 will be getting free vaccination, and the people who wants to take jab in the private institution, there is a platform for them also. This is really a historical, announcement. I really welcome, as director of one institute, and I am hopeful that state will also welcome, because this is one policy which will benefit all the people across India, and I think all hurdles are now removed, and there will be no issue of center and state, or one authority to other authority. So it's really a welcome step by the central government.
I think
now, Mr.
Nupur, I think the biggest takeaway, if I can just tell our viewers a little bit about what has happened, and I'll get in Aishwarya as well. Now, this is significant politically as well. Suhail said, and Keval Handa, Pirus Kambata, look at what has happened. Now, all these states, many states were criticizing, many political parties were criticizing. First, they wanted control of the vaccine, purchase process, and then they started complaining about it. They hit a roadblock, and then chief ministers started arguing between themselves, started requesting each other, saying, let's now ask the Prime Minister and the centre to take control of the situation. Essentially, Prime Minister has said, okay, enough is enough. We will take control, and we will ensure that we will procure and we will distribute. Because initially when this debate started, states wanted autonomy.
Well, Niranjan.
Right? Yeah, Aishwarya, states wanted autonomy, right?
Well, absolutely, Niranjan. And the biggest takeaway from this has to be that free vaccination to all over the above the age of 18.
Yes.
And this is something from June 21. This is the biggest takeaway, and this should shut the mouths of everyone who was doing politics over vaccination. It was the states who said that they wanted the power to procure, and now when they were basically unable to do so, then they pointed fingers back at centre. All of that should come to a rest. Now the government is saying free vaccination for every Indian citizen over and above the age of 18 from June 21st. And that is it, because vaccination is a must. Yes, sir.
Let me quickly get in, quick word in from Keval Handa, Pirus Kambata, Suhail say, let's take 30 seconds to just capture what do you think?
Okay.
Pirus, okay. Keval Handa, your takeaway. Hurdle, states said we can't procure the vaccines. Yeah. Pirus Kambata, okay.
To all of you.
Good evening.
I think here we have a Prime Minister who cares. Here we have a Prime Minister who is sensitive. Here we have a Prime Minister who listens. And here we have a Prime Minister who knows that the buck stops at his end.
Yeah.
He knows that he has to take a decision because the states have failed. States have failed him miserably. And they are criticizing every day. Here is a Prime Minister who have done 23 crores of vaccines. We have done 1 month, UK vaccinated.
Yeah.
Full UK is vaccinated in 1 month. And we can vaccinate in July the full US.
Yes.
I'm very, very confident the way he has announced it, taking the entire vaccination under his control, taking the vaccination procurement under his control, which means that we will get now the Pfizers, the Moderna, the Johnson to come fast and to pump the market with that 25% he's talking about. And I think this is a great phase. And nobody has to now worry about the cost of the vaccine.
Yeah.
The central government is going to pay for the cost of the vaccine.
Yeah, Keval Handa, you know a thing or two about the vaccines because, you've been the MD of Pfizer. Pirus Kambata, look at the hurdles and look at the solution is given. State said we are not able to get the vaccines. He's saying I'll get it for you, I'll distribute it. State said there is anomaly in the pricing of the vaccines. He's saying I'll give it to you for free. Now, every hurdle that was thrown, he's cleared it out and rationalized it.
Now I think he has cleared everything. If you ask me, he is the right leader for the right time and he's given the right formula. Now, united, we have to stand with him And I think all the political fractions or all the civil society members, whatever way we think, I think that has to forget now. Let us go with one aim, that let us try and by Diwali, he has said, I will continue this free scheme. I am saying forget December. By Diwali, we should vaccinate the whole country at least one dose. And that is only possible with a full cooperation. And I would add that it is possible if even the civil sector, the CSR funds of the companies, the foundations, the trust, we are all involved in this vaccination drive. And it is very good that 25% is allotted to the private hospitals, because we can tie up with the private hospitals. When I say we, means the companies, the foundations and the trust, and ensure that at least people associated with us, directly, indirectly, they are given vaccines in a very priority time, because I think that is very necessary to start the economy, that people who are frontline in our workforces are given the vaccine. And I think this will pave the way open for that. One more thing I would like to say, probably that has not been covered in this speech, is the vaccination for the young children. Because we have to start the schools and they all talk of the third wave. And I was hoping that that would be also clarified on this channel. I said that probably the only two vaccines which you all know, the mRNA vaccines which are approved for children, at least the 12 plus. I somehow believe that hurdle has to be crossed. Those vaccines have to be procured by the government and more so by the private sector. And at least we should parallelly start 12 to 18 vaccination also. Because that is the only way we'll be able to open the schools. And we will be able to make, because don't forget, if the kids at home are not vaccinated, I don't think it solves the full purpose.
Yeah,
so I believe, of course, there is something coming, but that is the need of the hour.
Yeah, but Suhail, he addressed, now he made two mentions. He said two vaccines are in a trial phase. In fact, he said 3 vaccines are in a trial phase. He said one vaccine, a made in India vaccine is on trial for children. Of course, we know that's Covaxin. He also spoke about the nasal vaccine, which will, which can be applicable to everyone, including children, right? And I think one of the biggest takeaways also is the cap on private hospitals charging extra. He said 150 rupees, nothing more than that, even across India. Suhail.
Narendra Modi is back. And Narendra Modi is back in charge is the big headline. The announcement, you can layer, Niranjan, on your channel, you and I have had this discussion ad nauseum where we said that the central government must take back control of the vaccination. We've discussed that. We've discussed vaccination pricing. The good news today is Narendra Modi is back, and he's back in the saddle, and he's telling people, I'm in control, I'm going to take charge, and I'm going to make sure things happen. Look, the beauty about Modi is when he says he will do things, those things get done. For whatever reason, the states were allowed their piece of, sunshine. They were allowed their flexibility. 4 things stand out today. One is free vaccination for above 18.
Yeah.
Number 2 is clinical trials for children. Number 3 is the free rations
Suhail.
for the poorest of the poor. And number 4 is this continued drive to make sure that COVID protocol is followed. For me, the big headline, Niranjan, is that the country can now heave a sigh of relief and say that there will be no political mudslinging between center and state. People will not blame each other. And one very interesting thing, Niranjan, which none of you have touched upon, he's aware of the pernicious media campaign that was launched. A media campaign to undermine him and a media campaign to undermine other people. So, it's a smart speech. It's a good speech. It takes everything on the chin. He talks about the criticism, and I'm glad he's back in the saddle.
I have a breaking news update. Aishwarya has a breaking news update on the MHA being the nodal ministry. Let me go across to him. Another big update, breaking news update on Republic. Aishwarya getting the news for Aishwarya.
Well, absolutely. At this point of time, we are being told, and this is breaking news as we speak, that the Home Ministry has been given charge of the distribution and supply of the vaccinations to each and every state and then union territory. We are being told that as there was already a subsection of an EGOM which was held by Niti Aayog convener VK Paul as the member who was heading the vaccination subpart, but now the Home Ministry is going to be the nodal agency keeping charge of the demand and then the supply of the vaccination to each and every state. So the Home Secretary is going to, and this is going to begin within the next 12 working hours. That means tomorrow, the first thing which the Home Secretary does, according to our sources, is get in touch with the Chief Secretaries of each and every these states. The demand is going to come from these states, and government Now it's going to be the responsibility of the MHA and then in turn Government of India, as said by the Prime Minister, and Ministry of Home Affairs is going to be the nodal agency alongside the other subsidiary ministries coming in. But then any complaint, any problem which any of these states have, it's the Home Ministry which is going to be looking at it. It is going to be the Home Minister Amit Shah taking charge of the situation after the Prime Minister's orders, and the Home Secretary will be coordinating on an hourly basis with the Chief Secretaries and then the LGs of the states and then the Union Territories per se.
First state, okay, breaking the news of the nodal ministry first, getting the states first. Karnataka Health Minister is responding. Let me quickly get in Karnataka response. Quickly, 30 seconds, I'm cutting across to that. Live feed, Sakai.
The leadership, the kind of commitment that our Honorable Prime Minister has towards Indians, and this has really helped every Indian to avail the vaccination. And today Government of India is supporting every state, every individual in this country. So above 18 years, he has announced it as completely free. This is a historical, decisive decision that our Honorable Prime Minister has taken. Kudos to him. Similarly, he has also allowed the private hospitals to carry out the vaccination process as well, so that by giving a choice to companies or to some high net worth individuals.
Okay, we'll cut back. Dr. Vishal Rao, one of the takeaways, like the Karnataka Health Minister was mentioning, was also about the success of the private hospitals. Let's accept it. The manner in which the private hospitals have also, gone about the vaccination drive is fantastic, very organized. Should have been done much earlier, and that will continue. But of course, the price has been capped at just 150 rupees extra. Do you think that's a good move?
First of all, I think what I would like to say is today the Honorable Prime Minister's talk was completely about establishing the departure from the current policy of decentralized procurement through states. And I think that's a sentinel step that was taken, a landmark step. And we definitely needed central systems to procure and distribute these vaccines. And it's coming free of cost, which is again a very, very positive step. What I would like to allude to is I think the Lancet Citizens Commission was actually talking about this as one of the key points that was requested as one of the urgent actions needed because of the chaos that was setting in because of the decentralized approach. And I think this comes as a very reassuring thing to the citizens of our country that we will be having one streamlined, disciplined approach which we will be able to procure these vaccines. And involvement of the private sector, again, is a crucial one. But what is commendable is the way the process is being balanced by the private and the public partnership in a synchronous manner, both at the center and the state level, is very, very important to optimize the outreach of these vaccines and minimize the cross-state inequalities. So I think I welcome this entire thing in a very positive note.
Yeah, okay. Aishwarya has some more breaking news updates. Let me quickly get him back again now. He's talking about the reconstitution of the empowered groups under the National Disaster Act, which was done already on the 29th of May. So basically the groundwork was being done for an announcement which has happened today, Aishwarya.
Absolutely, Niranjan. And this very, very clearly suggests that on the 29th itself, as it was signed by the Home Secretary there and then, that these empowered groups, and earlier there were only 4, on the 29th there were made 10, in which vaccination was made a separate part and is headed by Dr. V.K. Paul, who's also a member of Niti Aayog. He's the convener. Harsh Singla, Foreign Secretary, is a part of it. Anup Vadavan, Secretary, DO Commerce is there. TV Somanathan, Finance Secretary, is there. Rajesh Bhushan, Secretary, DO Health is there. Aparna, Secretary, Mrs. S. Aparna, Secretary, Pharmaceuticals, so on and so forth. 10 people are there in this subsection which was made on the 29th itself. So today's announcement of the Prime Minister required certain homework to be done, and all of that is already done. So it doesn't mean that the work will begin now. The backroom work is already done for it. The implementation part will begin from tomorrow. Okay. So that is the only information which is coming in now, that the backroom work for it, subsectioning, getting it done, segregating, all of that is done. V.K. Paul is heading the Niti Aayog subsection EGOM already. And now the MHA is going to be coordinating directly with him, and then
so
the chief secretaries of all of these states,
responses,
so that the implementation can begin. Yes.
I have a few responses of what different political parties are saying, and then I'll go back and get one round of responses from all our panelists. The Punjab Chief Minister saying that good that the centre has decided to take over the vaccine procurement and distribution for the entire country and for all age groups, and that he had written personally to the Prime Minister on this issue twice, suggesting that this was the only solution to managing the COVID crisis. Even the left, CPM, Sitaram Yechuri has today said just a few seconds back that it's better late than never. It should have been the centre's responsibility from the beginning. The court has also stepped in and the government has decided to take control, which should have happened a long time ago. Essentially, even parties that were criticizing are now saying that it's good. Because, see, the irony is Keval Handa, irony is they wanted control of it. They tried and they were not successful. You know a thing or two about vaccines, right? They tried, they were not successful, and they went back to the centre. And some even then did not go back to the centre. Jagan, for example, the Andhra Chief Minister wrote to the Kerala Chief Minister saying, hey, now is not the time to, be a little divided about this. Let's go back and fight as one and ask the centre to procure the vaccines. This was a few days ago and looks like it's all paid off finally.
Dare I, durust I for the opposition party. All I can say that. But I think it's a fantastic strategy of taking the entire vaccine at the center. And that 25% private is very, very critical. When you have these vaccines from Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson coming in, they require a very stringent cold chain. And that stringent cold chain can be easily maintained by the private hospitals. And also, somebody asked a question, Pfizer vaccines have been approved for students from age of 12 to 19. So we can actually start applying that vaccine right upfront to the students who are above age of 12. So I think that's a great advantage that we have in this policy. Plus, as I said, what we need today is a central deployment policy with an expert and analytics in place. The analytics will tell us where the major challenges is, which are the major areas that we need to send vaccine first, and not based on the based on the need of the vaccine. I think that is what the artificial intelligence and analytics should need to be put in place, and that's how the deployment of the vaccine should be done to the state, and not arbitrarily based on the demand by the states. I think that will put rest all the challenges that we have in different states, where some states have a major problem of containment, some do not have, and some rural areas do have a major problem of containment, some do not have. This type of analytics will help us to deploy the vaccine at the right centers. I think we need to put that in place now.
Okay, and I think Niranjan, even as you're taking those questions with our panelists, let's just push that point a little further. This is an information that our colleague Aishwarya had shared with us. This is about the empowered group. I mean, let's not forget that this is not just about the Prime Minister getting in charge, as we just heard Suhail say, rightly pointing out. But let's see if we can put this entire notice also on our screens, because this is the empowered group when it comes to dealing with oxygen. Empowered group when it comes to vaccination, empowered group vis-a-vis testing, and empowered group vis-a-vis partnerships. So this is how, gentlemen, that the government actually has divided this. Almost every of this empowered group has about 10 members. I am just trying to read through those names. These are headed, in fact, by top bureaucrats and top scientists. In fact, the testing empowered group is headed by Dr. Balram Bhargav, the DG at the ICMR, Suhail. Dr. Amitabh Kant, the CEO at the Niti Aayog, Mr. Handa is heading the partnership division here, where he'll be looking at private sectors, NGOs, international organizations, and I think that is extremely important. Dr. V.K. Paul, who's a member of the Niti Aayog and also head of our COVID task force, will continue to look at vaccination, and that has been expanded, with people from different ministries when it comes to the health sector, the commerce ministry, the health and family welfare, water and sanitation. So the list is endless. But I think the bigger point here, as I think all gentlemen here on the broadcast have actually spoken about, is the fact that now we know, Suhail, that who's in charge. So it is much easier because centers, or when the center is controlling vaccination, Sohail, this means that the states will have that much time to look at their own issues to help, with the people, and not spend that much time cribbing or politicizing, but perhaps, fix people's problem. So that also gives them a lot more time, Sohail.
So what's happened is he has taken, going forward, politics out of health. And he's saying, look, we gave you time. We tried to make it, federal, cooperative federalism and all. It didn't work. Now what we're going to do is, as he says health of every Indian is paramount to him and to everyone else, I'm sure. What he's done is, he has very coolly, very systematically taken the politics out of this whole vaccination game. Today, these people have nothing to politic about. What he's also done is he's saying, look, I will be responsible for making sure, the center will be responsible for giving vaccines to everyone. Now, the cribbing may happen later. One particular BJP state has got more vaccines versus a non-BJP state. But what he's done are three things. Number one, he has taken charge. Number two, he's got the political high ground. Sitaram Yechuri is difficult to please on any matter. So for him to say that means a lot. Number three, he has inspired confidence in the people of India. Look, I'm not bothered about Yechuri and all these other Johnnies. To hell with them. I don't care. What I'm bothered about is the health of every Indian going to be sacrosanct and safe? Today, the Prime Minister has inspired faith yet again. With his 32-minute speech, he has told people, I'm back in charge. I will take charge of the vaccination. I will make sure the poorest of the poor don't suffer. And I will make sure that children are protected because those clinical trials are underway. On every aspect that we had fear, on every aspect that we had doubt, he has taken it on his chin, including the fact that political people and non-political, were promoting vaccine hesitancy. They were spreading canards about the effects of vaccination. So he's addressed that also. For the first time, the Prime Minister has also addressed criticism, including the media agenda. So I've been a huge critic of his for the last 4 months on your channel. And I can tell you one thing. I'm an objective person. I hate politics. I don't belong to any goddamn political party. I can tell you, today, Narendra Modi is back as our Prime Minister, and he's back in action. And that is a great sign for our country.
Yes, and both Keval Handa, Sohail, Keval Handa and Piruz Khambata are in agreement because they're nodding their heads. But gentlemen, I want to go to the two doctors if possible because we just have limited time right now before we hit a break here. But Dr. B.L. Sherwal, why don't you tell me a little bit more about this? Isn't this better? Because earlier also we realized that when the center was holding vaccination, when, things were more streamlined versus what was happening now. Because the states were wasting a lot more capital fighting, coming and giving out sound bites, doing press conferences, but now it will only be about doctors and vaccination and people. 20 seconds, sir.
Yeah, in a way it is right that, initially center was procuring and giving to the state, then it was changed and state was given the freedom to buy the vaccine. But now it is again back. So I think now the experience is there that it has not worked. And the sufferer were basically common man. So now, for the benefit of the people, if it has been again streamlined and back to the center, I hope now all the states should be happy and all common man will be getting the vaccine as and when they can be there, on the priority. And now state can fix the priority of priority group for their own 18 to and above,
yes, so I'm
population.
also just taking the liberty, sir, of intervening here because we've really run out of time right now on this particular edition of the news. But at 6, we are back with the top highlights, the top quotes of what we've heard from the Prime Minister today, how this possibly could be a vaccination game changer. So do not go anywhere. Republic is on top of the story.